Back at it again with another episode of the Shades of Blue Soccer Show, sponsored by Core Outdoor Equipment. My name is Cody Bradley. I've got Thad Bell, Robert Russert.
Nope. Sure don't.
Don't have Robert Russert, Thad Bell, Carrie Robinson, and David Greenwald as the foursome here tonight. A 1-1-2 record for Kansas City Soccer this weekend. I think that was in our rundown because it's not as bad as it normally is. I think that's the only reason that was notable. 1-1-2 for KC Soccer this weekend. We've got the Sporting KC loss. We got a current draw. There's plenty of stuff to get to on our rundown here today. A lot of MLS things. We're wondering about Poach. We're going to talk about Wicky in depth. But let's start with the Sporting KC 2-0 loss against Houston. Down to 10 men. Lasse Berg got a double yellow in the first half, and then everything kind of fell apart in the second half there, Thad. 2-0 at the hands of Houston.
Yeah, they didn't look great before the red card, but they looked okay. Like they were at least being a competent defensive team against a pretty good attacking team.
Well, and actually, can we just go right there? You're talking about fairly competent in defense. I think I'm probably not alone when that roster came out, the back line, 2 new guys on there, guys we've been kind of waiting to see and hearing about and waiting for form. Jake back on that back line. And yes, Thad, you're right. 3 guys really on that back line. We've seen Karic a few times now, but yeah, I think I was myself eager to see what that back line was going to do. And like you said, I think they were okay there for a little bit.
Yeah, they were. And, Orr's made some appearances. Carrie has made a couple, and it was the first start for Moises, and saw good things from him. I'm actually a little less impressed with Carrich's defense, but he does move the ball well. Like he's got good crosses when he gets up there. He comes into the midfield a lot to kind of help control the possession. So I think that's maybe where he's the best at. But it was okay until Lasse got stupid.
Carrie, what do you think of Jake back on the back line there? We've had a tumultuous relationship with Jake over the recent years. That's where he belongs for me. I know we as fans and the team and probably Jake fancies the midfield, but the reason we still love Jake, the reason we talk about him now, his career resurgence was at the outside back, and I was happy to see him there.
I think Jake Davis in midfield should be dead. Because we haven't seen him there in years, and if he got put in there, he might look like a chicken without a head.
Yes.
But he was fine. I think there was a few mistakes that he had. He seemed to go straight into the locker room after the game, so hopefully, the loss is kind of making him mature a little bit more. I know there were some mentions on Twitter and Reddit about his attitude towards the game, and hopefully that this is something that he's been able to step up to with all these losses.
David, what do you think?
He certainly didn't enjoy getting removed from the game. He and Wicky had a conversation at the touchline. Jake was our highest rated player of the match, according to, who scored, foot mob, all that. I thought Jake, he was fine enough for the position that we were in. I actually thought Mosquera played a really solid game. He's gigantic.
Big dude.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
If Ike ate Ike, that's how big Mosquera was. And without being like a fat man, that's a big dude. And I thought he played well.
There's a baseline for him. He can't be that bad. He's big and physical, and there's a baseline for how bad he can be. And I'm just hoping he exceeds.
I don't know. Danny Rosero was also very big.
Yeah, this guy's bigger though. No.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. But I'm waiting to be impressed by Blorian. So far, I've thought he was just kind of okay. But I don't think our back line was the problem last night.
What was?
I think Cleveland could have done more with the first shot. I think
what are you like friends with this guy? What? That's the nicest thing. That's the nicest way to put that play as I've seen any human being describe it.
David, be mean.
Oh,
we haven't seen you in a long time. Be mean.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Be your normal self.
I'm not mean.
I know. I just
This slander. Oh my God. No, look, the first one Cleveland probably should have done more with. I'm sure there is some keeper or keeper defender who will say that was undefendable, but I think he should have kept that out of the net. The second one, maybe it was on Cleveland to play that ball to somebody else, but Calvin Harris, I mean, bruh. Well, I mean, maybe the worst pass I've ever seen. Like,
yeah, it's genuinely up there. It looked like he was trying to do that.
Inexcusably bad.
Calamity of errors. You're right. I think Cleveland probably shouldn't have given him the ball there, but just as a whole, just both of those goals. I said after the first one, that was embarrassing. And the second one is like, turn off the television level of embarrassing. I didn't because we do this, but I know multiple people who did.
It was a tough watch. It was a really tough watch. LBJ getting 2 yellows in the first half was bad. I mean,
can we talk about him?
Yeah, let's talk about him.
We've seen him for a while now. I think his first couple games, we saw some sparks and things that we liked, but Thad, I don't know. Where are you standing with Lasseberg?
I don't think he's getting reelected.
Yeah, notice I wasn't saying LBJ because I don't like LBJ.
Yeah. Anyway,
the president or the nickname?
The next.
All of the above, maybe for Cody. I don't know.
Cody got a lot of opinions on 1960s White House politics.
No, he was fine.
No. Anyway, yeah, I think that at times he is pretty good. It's that the team isn't good enough for him to show how good he is, but he's not as good defensively as I'd hoped. He doesn't control as well as I'd hoped, or at least hasn't with the team that they've had out there in the past. And he was hoping with a better defensive line behind him, he'd be able to, do some more controlling of the passing and controlling of the ball and directing and stuff. You see that out of him sometimes, but it's just that he's not strong enough to be a great D mid and protect his back line and not do some stupid stuff. So maybe he's trying too hard. Maybe that was what it was.
I have a theory. And my theory is that he did not come from like an elite league, right?
Right.
Where was he playing before he came to MLS?
I'm pulling up his info here.
Somewhere in that corner of Europe.
It was a Scandinavian league, right?
I mean, he's from Norway, so you might be confused.
I think that's where you're getting it.
Where was
I clicked on an absolutely terrible article for this.
You didn't click on the Kansas City Soccer Journal?
Our SEO
he's from
did not
Sweden.
bring that up. Sweden. That's
yeah,
right,
he was
okay.
playing in the Swedish league, right?
Malmo. He was in Malmo.
Yeah.
Okay. And Malmo is a proper club. They're they play in Europe, and not just like geographically in Europe. They play in like the Europa League and stuff, whatever, right? But the thing is, MLS is a notoriously physical and demanding league. It's a fast league, even though it's not a particularly skilled league. And I think he's struggling to adapt to the speed of the game, to the climate of America, playing, in 100-degree heat one day, playing, in the swamps of Kansas City, the swamp of Houston, like
a mile high the next day.
Yeah, like it is a very demanding league physically. And I don't think he's adapted well so far. I think he can adapt. I think it's just going to take some time for him to get acclimated. And you compare that to a guy like, let's say, Heung-min Son from LAFC, and he's so elite that it doesn't matter. Messi is so good that they don't have to adapt that same way. But I think that's why we see glimpses of like real talent and real skill, and then we see moments of just meh.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair, although Son did take a few games before he scored.
Yeah.
But that might have just been the lead up to the World Cup, like that being on his mind versus the local league here thing. But
all he had to do was play Sporting Kansas City.
What's he up to these days? I something like 25 goals or assists in 26 games, something like that, right?
Lasse has signed. He signed a 2.5-year contract, so we have him through 2028. And it looks like his cap hit is over $1 million, almost 1.2 million this year.
Yeah.
Okay. David, you were mentioning some big name players, some expensive players in the league. The rumors are still heating up here about Andre Luis.
It just popped up right before we started recording that outlet in Greece is reporting that it is a done deal.
Yes, that is from Sport24. They're writing the words that says everything is agreed and signed, and all that's left is that he is throwing a party, actually, for these teammates that he was with for 6 months. And then he is leaving.
Really good Greek, because I couldn't read that article. My ancient Greek and my Latin are okay, but modern Greek is just an abomination. I refuse to read the outlets.
Yeah, I was boning up on
Odyssey
Homer.
And then
right. I was boning up on Homer to get ready for the Odyssey. Great movie, by the way. Go see that. Okay, so yes, this outlet is reporting that it is done. They're saying $20 million with bonuses, and that Olympiacos keeps about $16 million of that, and also is apparently getting a 20% sell-on clause. All of this, again, grain of salt, et cetera, has not been officially reported yet. That likely doesn't ever happen until the player is here for when Sporting Kansas City announces it. So maybe by the time you are listening to this week, maybe it will have been announced. But Thad, this is looking real. Looks like we've got a very expensive 24-year-old Brazilian winger. Should we? I guess I have to be excited about this. I'm excited, right?
Okay, if you're excited, I got to take the other side, right?
Okay,
he's 24. He's played only a few games for his team in Greece. He didn't score there. He did score fairly decently, but not $24 million or $20 million transfer fee worthy with his team in Portugal. So I don't know if you should be excited or not. I'm not saying you shouldn't be. I'm not saying you should be. It's a little bit unknown at this point. When you look at his highlights, he looks good. But
right.
I've seen real duds have highlight reels.
I mean,
Carrie,
I think after David's last little thing about, he's not translating to the league well, it might take him time. I'm feeling less hopeful with this guy, no matter the price tag.
Yeah, I mean, I said,
I feel like I am one of the most optimistic people about Sporting, and I'm always going to find the hype, but something in this last game broke me. I watched 5-0 in Chicago. That did not break me, but 2-0 at home.
And the manner in which those goals went in, like it was that second one, man, that was a punch in the face.
Yeah, I have a friend that went home at halftime. He's never done that before. He's never left a game early, period. And I don't know. It's like we were waiting in the first half of the season, and we just kept losing, and we were kind of told in the background, just wait till after the World Cup, we'll be fine. Or, we're going to start worrying about this after the World Cup. And here we are after the World Cup. I'm sad still.
Yeah, we are going to talk a little bit more about Sporting Kansas City and maybe where Wicky fits into that. But for Luis Diaz here, not Luis Diaz. Andre Luis. Wow, Luis Diaz, what a signing.
Yeah. Hey, can we get Robert's opinion on this? You're having a tough time with names today.
I should have taken a nap and woken up 30 seconds before we started, Carrie.
Hey, it was a great nap. I feel punished.
The point I'm making here, he is a 24-year-old Brazilian forward. That is something we've waited to hear this team signing for a long time. And I think the only thing that is holding us back, that is, like you said, is just the very recent stats. The highlights look good. The intangibles look good. And I do think this is something we should be excited about.
Yeah, and he's coming from a league where Manu and Shapi came from, who they scored in that league. So how did that make you feel, David?
Let's talk about Manu after this.
Why are we going to Greece? No, okay. So the bit of optimism, the non-Thad version of this, aside from the price tag. So he came up in Brazil through Flamengo, which is one of the historic clubs in Rio de Janeiro. They're one of only 2 teams to never be relegated in Brazilian football. And then he moved pretty early on. Did I just watch Cody run by? So Cody, before we started, Cody was making banana bread, and it was not. He had not timed it properly. Cody thought he had timed his banana bread properly.
Oh, God damn it.
And so we see, for those of you listening but not watching us on YouTube, you're missing out. But we just see Cody running by like the Flash, just back and forth across the screen.
It was like a little like prance out. A run.
I didn't want to I didn't want to make the stomping noise for the microphone. I was trying to. It was definitely a prance. I'm sorry about that.
We really try to keep going.
I make a mean banana bread. I have loaves, or I have a loaf, and then I have muffins. The muffins were what I timed poorly. This whole time I knew I was going to have to run away and get the loaf out of there. Anyway, I'm a good cook.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Did we wrap up?
No.
Okay. Well, that's
we were
your fault.
distracted by Cody's prancing.
That's your fault.
So he transferred to a team in Portugal, scored a few goals there, not a ton, but then
not
ultimately
very many at all.
But I think a substantial portion of this transfer is based off of his performance at Rio Ave, which was they're in the Portuguese, Premier Division.
Yeah. 19
appearances, 7 goals, 6 assists in 1,500 minutes. That's solid, and that's a solid league. Although he was not playing for one of the better teams, very much like a mid-table team in Portugal. But that's what secured him as his transfer to Olympiacos. Olympiacos is like the premier club of Greece. He does come with something of a pedigree. Whether or not it'll translate, I mean, as Mike Kuhn kind of wrote, not every big dollar transfer has worked out, but there's a lot of data across the world that says that the expensive players tend to be better. So I'm optimistic, unlike Thad.
Solid reporting there on that one. We are going to talk about Mike's article here in a little bit in the third segment. But yeah, I mean, $20 million on a non-old South American forward coming here is 5 years ago I would have been screaming about that. I would have bought a Brazilian flag and been flying it around my house at this point.
Do you want one?
Yeah.
Why aren't you already?
CVS has like flag capes of for half off because of the World Cup.
World Cup's down now.
They're like $4. I'll get you one, Cody.
I like the sound of that. We got to wait until Sporting announces it.
There will be a Brazilian somewhere in this city. Don't worry. Even if it's only David. Just to add on to that transfer, though, from the Portuguese league to Greece, it's the same owner that has both teams, and there's a little bit of question about that being some funny money move there.
I'm off put by that, to be perfectly honest.
Oh, that's like some Manchester City shit. Don't you even start. You even start.
I didn't. It's not me that owns it.
No, I'm talking to Cody.
Oh. I can be off put by it. Seems weird.
Your club chiefs.
It's a Michelle King shit.
So it seems like it may have been part of the deal is that he was moved there so that they could get the sale and get the more money of it. So that may be part of it.
Okay, let's take a quick break and we'll be right back. All right, let's do the core moment of the week for our wonderful sponsors, Core Outdoor Equipment. Carrie, you had a fun week. What was your core moment of the week?
Let me go last.
Okay, Thad, I'm hearing an echo. Sorry if you guys are hearing an echo. Thad, what was your core moment of the week?
Well, I was actually going to feed off of Carrie's because I know what it is, so I will go with something different.
Oh, apologies.
What?
Can't believe I ruined it.
It's not ruined. It's just I was going to work off of that. It's not. It's okay.
Okay, we'll keep the ball rolling.
I will still back it up for you later. Anyway, core moment of the week was seeing Kashawn Hines score 2 goals and get an assist for SKC2. 17-year-old helped lead SKC2 to a win.
Okay.
On Friday over Houston Dynamo 2.
That's a great shout. That's the exact reason that we do that game right there, is to sneak in things like that. Good job, Thad. David.
Seeing Mosquera make his debut, one of the only maybe bright adjacent spots of the weekend.
I'll do mine because Carrie wants to go last. Oh no, I gotta go get the banana bread.
I'll
Isn't that a
lift
fine?
second.
Hold on, that's a fine. Are you
no,
kidding?
It's not. No, it's not. My
Everybody,
core moment of the week.
Cody, go run. We'll
No,
talk.
it's not.
We'll talk.
My core moment of the week was
burn the
Monday
bread.
when I woke up Monday morning, and Mauricio Pochettino had not officially left yet, and that tells me we're inching closer. We're inching closer. We're going to talk a little bit about that as well.
Right.
Carrie, core moment.
Everybody
of
on the video, watch Cody go.
Prance.
Okay, my core moment of the week was the Kansas City Current media game. Specifically, they had Michelle Akers refereeing, and I got a yellow card from her. There is nothing like realizing a dream 2 weeks ago, lifelong dream, of getting yellow carded by a two-time national team player. Two-time World Cup winning national player.
Why did you? First of all, Thad just disappeared into the green screen. But Carrie, why did you get yellow carded?
I told her, I said it would be an honor. I simply asked. I did not feel like tracking down Sperry or Chad to go push him over and make sure that she's watching me.
Why didn't you gotta get stuck in? You gotta or dissent. Just say something hateful.
I said I can cover my mouth and say something.
See, that would have been earned.
You
That
can't
would have
do
been
that.
good.
Tell her you have better curly hair than she does.
Oh, I don't know if I could have done that.
Those are fighting words, Thad.
Yeah.
I gotta be careful with that.
And my add-on for Carrie is she played well, and she probably got more battling and touching of the soccer ball than a lot of the other people out there. She played well.
She didn't like the picture you took of her, though.
There was better ones. The
Okay,
one
good.
that he sent, I had a double chin in it.
Yeah,
It was the one
it's
you were
hard.
battling the best, though. Like you were like grabbing the guy's arm that's like 4 feet taller than you. And
Best action shot for sure.
speaking of 4 foot taller, did you see the guy on Houston, Gresh? He's listed at 6'6",
yeah.
but he made Mascara look not
Yeah,
that big.
yeah, they have a huge guy out there.
Hold
go
on,
ahead.
Cody. Carrie wanted to talk about Manu before we moved on from sporting.
Okay. Yeah.
Carrie has thoughts.
Manu
Well-
on the bench to start that game.
Well, yeah, and whenever he came on, granted we were down 2-0 and a man, or 1-0. He came on and then I think we scored, or they scored shortly after that.
Mhm.
I feel like people are getting more on the train that David was on a few months ago when David was like, he is not DP. He is not worth what we're paying him or for that DP spot.
A DP
People are
from
saying
Greece.
that, but you don't feel that, Carrie?
Everybody's saying it. People,
Okay.
really smart people are saying it.
Okay, you get 1 second of that on the show, and then we move on. Carrie, so you don't agree with that, or you do?
No, I think I'm starting to agree with it.
Yeah.
And
Or okay, yeah. I mean, we have our questions about Wicky. That is further down here. Thad, where do you stand with Manu?
I know a lot of people are upset because he didn't start because he had however many goal contributions over the previous few games, but he doesn't add much defensively. And if you're trying to shore up your defense, I mean,
I feel like Dayon even came back farther. Like at a point he was playing like as deep as our center backs, just about.
Yeah.
there was a lot of times I was looking, just like, where's Dayon? And he was nowhere in that middle 9 type of area that he was supposed to be. He was out on the wing. He was back in the midfield. He was everywhere but up there because they were trying to keep goals from going in. Now, part of that was the second half, but still.
Yeah, I need Calhera back to play that role again or with him.
Or a new player.
Or a new player.
That would be
I like-
nice.
I like Calhera. I mean, he hasn't scored. He hasn't really done a lot, but
he
he's-
takes enough pressure off of Dayon.
yeah.
And also they've been able to feed off each other, which was nice
Yeah.
to see.
He's got that Kyrie Shelton thing of like, none of it shows up on the stat sheet, but somehow it works a little bit until the fan base turns on him.
Okay, so Carrie, you were talking about the media game, the current 1-1 draw with Angel City, still undefeated at home, in spite of how upset you guys are.
So I think I have a new reason to be upset, and it's not for the team. It is solely
Watch
because
Carrie run away. Or watch Cody run away. Sorry.
And it is solely because these girls are celebrating draws now. Like they are lining up and doing like the little like row motion for draws, and this is the second game they've done it. Why? Why are we celebrating draws in this league?
Because for them, that's a victory.
Yeah. The only other thing that makes me mad about that situation is that it's been 5 years and they have not been able to get all the players together to do it at the same time. You always have players in the background just like standing and watching them.
So if they did it more efficiently and more together, you'd be okay with them doing it even on a draw.
No, actually it'd be even worse, but
Okay.
it's like whenever you do like the sway at sporting, it's like them trying to do their own victory thing, but then why are we doing it for a draw now?
Yeah.
Fair point.
I'm okay with that. I don't. Do you want to like send in a question to the next press conference and ask?
No,
The bar's been lowered. We just got to be happy with draws.
apparently
They need to be celebrated.
the Armis era draws.
Are you all in for Armis now?
Why would you ask that?
After that big resounding 1-1 draw.
Well, they won the game before that.
Yeah, against Louisville.
That was,
5-1.
everybody's like, hey, that was great. We're back.
Because I was with two friends for the media game. I had extra tickets. And towards the end of the game, we were trying to count the amount of passes the Current could get, and they got to 10 passes once. For a game that dominant on the score sheet, you look at the stats and it's a little bit closer.
I will have to say, if you are dominating a game but you can go direct towards goal, you may not make 10 passes that often because they're not their style of play. They're not a possession-based team. They're a 1, 2, 3 pass. Let's see if we can go.
Yeah. After 3 or 4, they're going to try to hit Temo Chewinga at some point with a hopeful ball or something.
And to be fair,
not here.
The Current was playing like their C team, so
yeah.
Speaking of Temo, we didn't have that in our other things.
Yeah, go for it.
Playing for Malawi.
Mm-hmm.
They beat Nigeria and Egypt so far. Timo's had, I think, 3 goals and an assist. I might add another goal in there, but I think that's 3 goals and an assist. Played really well. So they've overachieved for the size of their country and their history, primarily because of Timo.
Yeah. Is it overachieving when you have Timo? You're like, okay, I know it's Malawi, but like also they have Timo.
Yeah. But did you see the goals against Nigeria?
I saw her header.
Didn't.
I'm definitely dialed into the women's CAF tournament.
Okay.
Absolutely. There is a finite amount of bandwidth, and the current
Bandwidth.
Sure, bandwidth. Yeah, like I enjoy the current, but the African Cup of Nations women's tournament. I don't watch the men's African Cup of Nations either.
Yeah. The media game goalie looked better than Nigeria's goalie did against Timwa.
Woof.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's keep it moving here. Let's go back to Major League Soccer. Thad, Don Garber is on his way out. We're having discussions and meetings about his potential successor. What do you think about the tenure of Don Garber as he's exiting?
I think you can look at MLS and say there's been a ton of growth and he deserves at least a lot of credit for that. I also think there's been some real misfires on certain things.
Yeah.
And if we don't go in 10 years from now say MLS tanked because of Garber, then he did pretty well. I mean, sometimes you can't look at it on that day, but I think he's done all right.
Have you been keeping up with the discussions about his successor? They're apparently on Monday. It says on Monday that the MLS owners are going to meet and vote.
Yeah, and there's 2 left. Larry Berg, who's a co-owner of LAFC, and a former Fox executive, David Nathanson.
If any MLS owners are listening to this, please write in Carrie Robinson into your vote. Please.
What's your platform, Carrie? What would you do?
Strong grassroots
Look,
campaign.
I have concepts of a plan.
Hey, that seems to work in this
Is it
country.
23% of a plan?
Would you be willing to sell off half or like a quarter of the league to private equity and let them plan everything?
Let's sell off the U.S. Open Cup to private equity.
No, wait. We've already done that.
We are saving the U.S. Open Cup. We are getting rid of Leagues Cup. And we are creating yet another game TAM.
Lamb. This one
Cam.
has an L.
Carrie allocated money
Carrie can just allocate an extra $3 million to any team she feels worthy.
to only Sporting Kansas City.
and Miami. It has to also be Miami.
I will also give it to Montreal, because in my spiral on Saturday, I was like, I don't know how Montreal fans do it every year for like the last decade, more than a decade, since forever.
How about Vancouver? You're going to say Vancouver?
Yeah, I thought that's where you were going with
course.
that. Yeah, we got to save Vancouver.
You will get my vote if I get to be your assistant.
Careful what you wish for. What kind of boss would she be? I don't know. So I don't know anything about either of these guys, and I think you'd be hard pressed to find too many people who could tell you what they would be like as commissioner. I am a little skeptical about the idea of a current owner.
I agree.
Becoming the commissioner and like fairness.
Yeah. Hasn't baseball done that though a lot over their last 200 years or whatever?
Yeah. And some of those guys have been very controversial.
Yeah. So I had that same thing, as I would prefer a current owner not be in charge of anything. But I don't know what the other guys like. So
yeah, the hope is, and the upside to an owner is, presumably if you are passionate enough to spend your money to own a team, you actually like soccer and want it to do well. I don't know anything about the Fox guy, but I think for MLS to really continue to grow and thrive, you have to have somebody who's passionate about the game and growing the game.
Was Garber?
I would say so.
Yeah.
I think he was, yes. I think it would be really hard to say he didn't love the game and was doing what he saw best, at least.
People questioned him early on because he wasn't a soccer guy, but I think he loved the league and wanted it to be better, and I think he did a good job in that. Again, there's things I think he should have done, or the league should have done. Again, they switched to a calendar change. Should have been this year, but no. And I know that was owners voting and things like that. And
let's do that. What's, not to pick on the guy, he's leaving, but what's, you mentioned some mistakes that he made. What's another one? I'm assuming Apple TV is somewhere in there, or at least the way it manifested.
Yeah, I don't think Apple TV was a mistake as much as, like you said, is the way it manifested, that some people, it could have been a little easier to access. But you get some company is going to give you however many billions, they get to decide that. So that's.
And then you also have to weigh, like, maybe the Messi thing doesn't happen if the Apple TV thing is not mixed in there. So, that one's kind of hard to say, but
or the opposite way.
He can also admit that he was wrong on that one. He's been very open about.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and the league has kind of stopped hiding that about, now it's no longer a subscription. You just have to have Apple TV. They're putting more on cable and things like that. So at least they're doing that much.
But also, part of it, for as much as it was a flop, the other part of it that was smart, though, is that he got all of the broadcasting rights to line up so that the league could collectively bargain for them and negotiate, which brought in more revenue. I mean, at the end of the day, it's about bringing in revenue, because these clubs, while the owners are all stupid rich, none of the clubs were making very much money, if any at all. Sporting was one of the only ones that was making money for a while.
And not much.
Right. And so if you want better players, it has to be financially worth it. Some of these guys will just burn their money for love of the game. And
Peter Maluk.
But I would run through the hottest fire in hell for Peter Maluk. I love that dude.
As we stand right now, yes, like he has said and done everything beyond everything you could hope an owner to be doing in his position. Yeah, I'm ready to run through a wall for him.
But, a bunch of these guys aren't going to spend any money unless it's worth it, and they'll operate at some loss, but they don't want to operate at a complete loss. And so Apple kind of sucked, kind of fine enough, whatever. But I think it was a good idea in principle and concept. I think, my biggest criticism is not adapting roster rules fast enough to make MLS more competitive, especially as we emphasize how, all of these rivalries with Mexican teams, how we are basically playing with one hand tied behind our back. And I understand the idea of slow growth and like one DP turned into multiple DPs, turned into the U22 concepts, TAM, all of that is to put an influx of cash into the rosters, but it's still been too slow.
Well, we are discussing new roster changes maybe for next year, and I think that's another thing that is going to be voted on here soon, Thad.
And yeah, I want to just add on to what David was saying though, because I think we may criticize Garber for maybe not having went faster on some of these things or a little bit differently. But you got to remember, the commissioner in this case doesn't decree; he has to have the owners vote on these things. And when you have some owners who are still around from the days when, I bought 3 MLS clubs for $1 million, it's kind of hard to push them to, now I'm going to spend $20 million on a player. I think that's changed now because there's so many new owners, they can outvote the old ownership. And that's where we're seeing a lot of them pushing for that change. And I think LA is one of them. So I think that's why that owner is at least potentially a good candidate, is he's pushing for the future. And LAFC has been, I think, a well-run club. They haven't had controversy. They've invested well.
Yeah.
Not everything is perfect, but it never will be. So I think that's maybe one reason that the LAFC owner would be a good candidate in that case, is he's presided over like something good. And the Fox guy I don't know anything about, so I'm not criticizing him. But maybe that's a better person for understanding TV rights and all the different broadcast possibilities. I don't know, because I don't always love everything that Fox Sports and all that stuff's done. So I might actually lean towards the actual owner in this case.
Okay, back to the rules. These new rules. What exactly are we voting on?
Exactly, I don't think anybody. I don't know that we know. I've just heard people say that it would up the salary cap, and there would be a minimum also, so you have to spend at least a certain amount. It would reduce the amount of restraints on things, the discovery rights and waivers and that sort of stuff.
Okay.
So Tenorio and Tom Bogert put out an article in The Athletic talking about a lot of this. And, a lot of it is still very kind of like not official.
Right.
But one of the things that they've been talking about is eliminating things like GAM and TAM and Carrie's proposal for CAM.
We're adding to it over here. What are you talking about?
About eliminating that and simplifying the roster rules to be more of a just closer to just like a proper cap, or potentially maybe in the NBA range where you've got like bird rule cap, like max contract, but still within your more typical cap that would allow teams to spend more freely all up and down the roster. But there's talk about whether or not they keep the U22 thing and homegrown thing, because they want to continue to incentivize bringing in young players to then flip them. The catch with all of this is that the collective bargaining agreement is up in 2028, in January of 2028. So any changes to roster structure and salary, also you have to deal with the Players Association. Mm-hmm. And that could get potentially kind of ugly and dicey going into negotiations.
Okay, big changes for Major League Soccer coming. New commish, new rules, new format.
It will be. It will allow teams also to either be really successful or really terrible, all in their own right. Because now, directors of soccer operations, GMs, whatever you want to call them, can go spend $4 million on $1 million player and not have anybody tell them no. which the league has told teams, no, that player don't spend that money. But now they'll be allowed to be really bad, but allow really good GMs to maximize their money and be a much more effective team. So,
But it's still, we're not entirely taking the rails off of this. The whole thing was the ghosts of the leagues past that failed because a couple teams with the haves and the have-nots, etc. And that's why there's this web, the complex Garber rules, Garber bucks. That's why the roster rules for Major League Soccer are so confusing and complex now. And I think now we're starting to feel like maybe we're getting beyond that a little bit, and we just need to grow and get all of the good players now. So I think we're trying to open things up a little bit, but it is not just we're not just completely taking the rails off of this.
No, they're not completely taking the rails off, because there will be a cap. They can't just go and spend $200 million on players.
Right.
Well, they could go spend $200 million on one player, but not under a cap. So,
well, and frankly, I mean, that's for the best, because the one great thing about MLS is that there's parity.
Yep.
And what nobody wants to see is like the Bundesliga, where it will be Bayern Munich winning every year, except for like once every 20 years, Leverkusen will win.
Yeah.
That's awful to watch.
There's only like two other teams that can even be competitive in those games.
Like the bottom of in Italy, of Serie A and things like that. Yeah,
you know,
just not
like
even close.
Serie A, Ligue 1. I mean, like, other than the Prem, most of these leagues are non-competitive. And at least the nice part about MLS is that, like, Sporting's down now, but 2 years from now, we could dominate the league. And
you heard it here first.
By the power of Peter Maluk.
God,
David is betting money right now.
I want to be friends with him so fucking bad.
Yeah, we should really. We haven't even really tried. We should make an effort to get him on the show.
I think he podcasts, so he's already a seasoned vet.
Yeah. We talk about him a lot. We praise him a lot. We should actually try that. We've never actually. I don't even know we've made an ask yet on that. He seems willing. I think we would have a really good time with him. So work on that, Thad.
I think Carrie's got a better chance.
Yeah, I'll just put something on Twitter. I'll just mention him
there you go.
on Twitter.
We talked about him a lot on the pod and gave him a lot of praise, but we have a lot of questions for him and we'd love to chat with him.
Question if he is serious. Doubt him a little bit on Twitter and just wonder if he's serious. So if he's going to put his money where his mouth is, then he'll definitely jump in.
And then come on the podcast.
Yeah.
If you don't come on the podcast, then you're not that serious.
I don't believe you, man. Okay.
I know a couple months ago I asked, like, when are we going to get to talk to Maluk? And they're like, I don't know. We don't even know how to get a hold of him.
He's Twitter, like Batman.
Apparently.
You just get on Twitter.
That's the best route.
But here's the thing. You don't even have to add him. All you have to do is, like, say his name.
Yeah.
It'd be funny if he, like, popped up right now. Boom, into the chat.
I saw someone use hashtag Peter Maluk, and that's been living rent-free in my head.
See? Oh, I have a reference that none of you will get, but
we just need to say his name 3 times.
He's Joe Hendry. None of you will get that reference, but there will be people who listen to this who will laugh at that reference.
No, my Beetlejuice reference was more wide appealing there on the saying his name 3 times.
Peter Maluk, Peter Maluk, Peter Maluk.
Boom.
Okay. We'll be right back. All right. So I mentioned this earlier, woke up on Monday after the self-imposed deadline for Mauricio Pochettino to make his decision about the U.S. men's national team. I think just the longer we go, it has to be a good sign. He's on the hook. This has been a long time, Thad, for him to just be like, oh, wait, no, never mind. So I think that we've got him on the hook. They're making the sale, and they just got to close it now.
I think if they're going to do it, it's already done, and all they're doing is writing up the contracts and deciding how to announce it. So
okay, well then, good. So you're confident?
No, I didn't say I was confident. I'm just saying if it was going to happen, I think it's already done, and they're just doing the writing up. Because otherwise, he's had offers from other leagues, and those other leagues are getting ready to start up.
Right, and it's just been way too long since his contract has technically ended to now be like, okay, now I'm leaving. A month after, 3 weeks after. I'm
sure a couple of the teams that he was rumored to have interest in him would have, backed up a truck of cash, not as much as Mo Salah cash, but Pochettino cash. And made that offer. So if he was really interested or really had that much interest out there, I think that would be the easier move. So
If they actually get him for another World Cup cycle, that'd be crazy. I'm almost just kind of thinking they're just going to get him back here for another Copa or another 2 years or something like that. But man, if they actually do get him for 4 years and we get another World Cup out of him, that'd be amazing.
I would actually be bummed if he only came back for a Copa. But
yeah,
what clubs was he linked to? Because like he was at one point linked back to Tottenham, but they have a coach. He was linked to like AC Milan.
AC
right?
Milan was the one that I was hearing.
They hired Ruben Amorim, who failed at Man U.
yeah, I think that's right.
Like who
Everybody
else?
Why would
fails
he
there.
do that?
Who else was he linked to?
I don't know that there were a bunch of clubs named. I think it was just, of course he was having meetings about it or having discussions.
Right.
Okay. So there's Poach, hopefully coming back. Maybe by the time you're listening, we'll have an announcement, just like Andre Luiz. Another coach discussion that I would like to have here, Rafael Wicky, as Mike calls him. Mike specifically seems to be out on Wicky, Thad. Where do you stand on we've seen 18 games from Rafael Wicky. Hasn't had the team that he wants. There is, of course, some leeway there. But there's a bottom. And as Carrie said, something within her changed after that second goal went in. And it has me at the very least wondering if this is the guy, if someone else can get more out of this. How long does he stay here? I have my questions. I have my Wicky wonderings.
Your Wicky wonderings. Where is Wicky? Where will Wicky go? No, I don't. I think it's unfair to talk about firing him because he has not had a team for most of this time.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just finally starting to get one. And yeah, they didn't perform the other night, but could another coach have gotten more out of him? Yeah. I mean, if we had Pochettino or Pep or somebody like that, yes, they get more out of him. But how much more? I don't really know. So I think it's kind of unfair to be thinking about firing Wicky at this point.
Well, hey, hold on now. I didn't say, should we fire Wicky? I said I have my Wicky wonderings.
Yeah, but I think others are. So that's where I'm just going. I think Mike would like to.
Yeah.
Again, nobody really likes to call. Nobody who's even remotely responsible likes to call for a coach to be fired. But it's always like, well, maybe it's time to part ways, right?
I don't even know that Mike is saying fire him now. I think he's just decided Wicky's not the guy for the future.
Well, I think Mike is, if he hasn't said it, is really close because I know he said like, just put Dom in there, Dominic Kinnear.
Yeah, that's one thing you got to keep remembering. We got Dom Kinnear just sitting on the bench.
Also, remember Dom Kinnear is not the second coach. He's not number 2 in the hierarchy of the coaching staff.
Well, it doesn't need to just go like that. I didn't know that, but it doesn't need to just go like that.
Edu Rubio or whatever his name is.
Okay.
Would he be out with Wicky though?
Don't know. I don't know that he was a Wicky hire or a David Lee hire.
Yeah.
Well, so here's my question. I think whether Wicky's good or not, there's obviously a body of work from his time in Chicago, but they were a bad franchise. There's a body of work from his time in Switzerland. But ultimately, he lost his job there too. Can Wicky coach? I don't really know. I can't say I spent a lot of time watching the Swiss league. And frankly, I didn't spend a lot of time watching his Chicago sides. The first half of this year was really bad. Yeah. But what coaches would have extracted great performances with a backline of Ethan Bartlow and Wyatt Meyer?
And Jansen Miller and Ian James.
Right.
Jake Davis and Kwaku Ajibang as a left back for part of that time. Oh yeah, Shoppy played outside back a little bit.
And so, I'm willing to give him something of a pass for the first half of the season. And leading into the World Cup break, we actually had improved for a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now there are no real excuses because if you look at our starting 11 and we don't have a super deep roster and our roster still has guys like Wyatt Meyer on it, and ideally, you would be better than that, even off the bench. But where is there left to like swap a guy into your starting 11 that we're talking about an improvement? Like, could you do goalkeeper? Sure. But as much as Stephen Cleveland didn't have a great game, Stephen Cleveland didn't have a great game last night, he's not really the problem.
Right.
You can upgrade a wing. Like, you could put in Andre Luiz instead of Calvin Harris. But then you've got $20 million Andre Luiz, one of the best strikers in the league in Dejan Joveljic. And then you've got Kapita, who we just paid a transfer fee for, fastest man in Poland. Then where in the midfield? Because LBJ is supposed to be our 6.
Yep.
You know, you've got Manu. You've got Dad, you're pointing.
What was
Yeah,
that?
you.
Was
That was Manu. You're the one who doesn't like Manu, and I'm like, there's a spot.
But like, how many spots in the 11 do you need? And let's say we need to improve on one of them. We need a midfielder. We shouldn't be last place in the league, getting just historically bad performances, you know, in terms of shipping goals. This is the time.
Last.
This is the time where Wicky has to like prove that he knows how to coach, because there are no more excuses. We have upgraded the roster for him. He has 3 guys on the back line who should all be okay to at least put in like mediocre performances. They should all be an improvement. So I don't know.
And
if
the
it's
back line was better.
Right. It's our holding midfielder who let him down.
Yes.
My concern is that we look like we have no ideas going forward.
Yeah.
We are not dangerous going forward. And we rely on moments of brilliance from Decky. We rely on Kapita hitting a nuke from outside the box. But like, they don't combine. They don't make clever runs. We just don't look dangerous with the ball.
I think that's maybe where Mike is getting his points there. They're not getting anything out of anyone. I know you said, well, who would get great performances? Nobody. But that there's a minimum requirement here. We're all watching and there's not much of anything. I know the Kapita banger from outside the box. Keeper should have had that. He didn't even kick the ball that hard. A great goal. I liked seeing it, but sometimes lucky things just happen. Someone else right before he did that, someone else just took a random stab at the ball from 35 yards out as well. And they kicked it right into somebody. Then it rolled to him and he was like, screw it, I'll try it too. There's not much of anything that we're getting out of the team. And I think that's where it's coming from. We should maybe get something out of this.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, big point, bringing in new players. We mentioned Andre Luiz potentially coming here. So I wanted to talk about Mike's article that he wrote here recently. Andre Luiz would be the 3rd highest transfer fee, as it's being reported, the 3rd highest transfer fee in Major League Soccer history. And of course, the highest for Sporting Kansas City. So let's just look at some of these the current top 5. Number 5, Rodrigo de Paul at 15 million. Again, this would be 20 million for Andre Luiz. Kevin Denke for FC Cincinnati at 15.3. And these are all in euros. Josh Sargent, Toronto, 18.65. Latte Lath with Atlanta United at 21.25. And then Son with LAFC at 22 million. David, how many of those on that list that I just said have changed things for their team and been worth that money?
Like half. Latte Lath has been bad. Like, he has really underperformed his contract. But Atlanta has this history of spending money. I'm trying to pull it up right now, but like, they spent a ton on Miguel Almiron at the very beginning. Like, at the time that they got Almiron, that was one of the biggest transfers in the league, and he was an absolute hit. Then they spent a ton of money on Ezequiel Barco, and he sucked. And then they spent a ton of money on some other Argentinian guy, and he was a hit. You know, not everybody's going to land. The dude from Cincinnati has been really good. Son, I mean, is a freak of nature. And not only has he been good on the pitch, but he also, is a marketing and commercial boon for the club, right? Like, he comes with such a built-in fan base. He's one of the most famous people in South Korea. It was a big thing for Tottenham when they had him too. So, like half of those guys have panned out.
Thad,
So 2.5.
2.5 of them.
Yeah.
That I kind of mentioned this last week on the show when we were talking about him, but I'm going to read this paragraph that Mike has in here. For a team like Kansas City, putting up that much money into one player feels like there's less room for error in how the player contributes to the team. Obviously, that also looks at the owner of the club and their net worth, so maybe Peter Maluk is willing to eat more if the player doesn't pan out. The first part of that sentence, that is something we've always been worried about. We spent $10 million on Polito. We can never buy another player. He better do great. But now I do you go into this feeling differently with the way Peter Maluk has been talking? Because I do.
Yeah, I do too. This is one of the rare times I'm just going to agree with you.
Thank you.
I do agree. Peter seems like he is going to invest money in this club. And if you spend big bucks on 3 players and one of them fails and 2 of them hits, you have a good team.
Right.
Or you have a chance at having a really good team, right? So I think he understands that. And I think he's smart enough to understand that. And he has the money to invest that. The question will always be is billionaires that can spend a ton of money and throw that money and then see it go away and fail. If you don't keep hitting, if you don't hit at least a reasonable rate of it, at some point they go, this is no longer fun.
Yeah.
And
I think at that point he fires David Lee.
Maluk has already talked about. He said, "Hey, if you're buying a team for an investment, there are way better investments. You don't buy a team for investment. You do it because you love it." And that's the thing. I've been holding on to that quote from him pretty hard, because that's man, he just, like we said, he's saying all the right things. And if he is not serious about what he's saying, my God, he is setting himself up for disaster.
Yeah. But I mean, every fan base in any sport wants an owner who is willing to spend to win. Everybody, all the non-Dodgers fans are really upset that the Dodgers just got richer today when they traded for Tark Skubal. But if you're a Dodgers fan, your owners are spending an ungodly amount of money to win probably a 3rd World Series in a row. That's what you want as a fan. What's his face? Arthur Blank for Atlanta. You look at transfer market. Atlanta has like 4 of the top 10 biggest transfer fees in MLS history for incoming transfers. He's spending money.
And one of them hit.
I think more than one of them hit. But, that's what you want. You have to take swings. You have to take swings. And by the way, I'm looking at this list, and there's plenty of guys who didn't make Mike's list, but like Brenner for Cincinnati cost $12 million when he came in. He was a hit. He was a great player, and then he got sold for a ton of money. Evander's still in the league. Evander is number 14 for $11.5 million. Wasn't great with Portland. He's been good for Cincinnati. There's plenty of guys on here who have been really good. Not all of them will pan out, but like that's how it works all over the world. We all root for other clubs. Carrie's an Aston Villa fan. Some of the guys that they sign are stars, and some of the guys kind of suck. The thing that I think will be interesting to see is under Sporting during the Vermees era, we just ate shitty contracts. Like a guy would be bad, he wouldn't live up to it, and we would just end up letting him go for free, right? And then they'd
or signing him again. They'd sign him again for the next contract.
Yeah, but and I've complained about this for years, but at a certain point, you have to be a selling club. You have to be able to do business. You may take a loss selling a guy, but let's say you sign Andre Luis for $20 million and he ends up not being good. If you can sell him somewhere else for $10 million, rather than eating a shitty contract and eating all $20 million of it, that's good. You need to be able to move on from guys who are on bad contracts. And I'm optimistic that David Lee and Peter Maluk are going to view things differently, especially that Peter Maluk is a businessman and it seems to be kind of maybe more involved than in the ownership and the running of the club than, some other people have been in the past, but we'll see.
One other thing Peter Maluk is doing is the 10 Parks project. Him and his wife, or maybe just his family, they're donating or putting up like tens of millions of dollars to their part. Their part of their money is going to the new Roy Blunt Luminary Park. They're building 10 parks all throughout Kansas City. So the guy's making investments into our city. You love to see it.
Cool. Did not know that.
We love an environmentalist.
That's right. Okay. Thad, any final thoughts here before we get out of here?
I did ask David Lee a question last night when he walked by me. I said, is there good news coming? And he like gave a very non-committal answer, but he did smile back at me like, yeah, maybe. So that leads me to believe that rumor may be actually true now. So.
Yeah, I believe it.
Cody, did you follow the Gianni Infantino trying to sell off a chunk of the World Cup?
Yes. How crazy is that? They doubled down in the morning, and then by the afternoon he was like, "Nah, never mind."
Do you think he's going to keep his presidency?
Oh, I think he might be on the way out. Like it seems like people in FIFA are even quite against it, and this has all left a very poor taste in everyone's mouth. And I don't know. I was kind of starting to see the downfall of FIFA as a whole if they really were going to dig their toes in on this. And that was honestly, it was going to be really interesting once UEFA and FIFA started going head to head like that. So I don't know. That was a roller coaster to go through. We'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I was already trying
to. Go ahead.
I was already trying to game like potential new organizations when all the different federations leave and stuff. So there'd be like Federated Association of Football Organizations, FAFO.
FAFO, let's go. All right.
What lasted longer, the FIFA thing right now, or the European Super League?
Super League lasted longer.
Yeah. It did. That had a few
went
days.
To court.
But that's still a thing. Like they're still trying to make that a thing.
Oh, yeah. It'll come back. That's inevitable.
No, like the guy from Real Madrid is just insisting on it. He won the court case, and they found a new entity. They're trying anything they can.
Yeah.
I love that in an organization that is historically corrupt, that is like notoriously corrupt, that all of these corrupt people like Sepp Blatter are like, whoa, that's even a step too far for us. Like, I'll take a bribe from a Qatari businessman, but like sell off the World Cup. Like, are you crazy? Just insane.
I thought it was funny whenever Sepp came out against like the red card overturn. It's like, okay, of all people, it's
Appreciate
you.
your input, Sepp. Yeah, valuable input.
Carrie, I think, it might be too late for you to be MLS commissioner, but it is not too late for you to run for FIFA president.
She's a great candidate.
Tam, Cam can go. Everyone would love those.
Once the world sees the addition of Cam with Tam and Jam, then you will not be able to be denied. The job will be yours.
Carrie,
exactly.
you would shatter 2 glass ceilings. You could be the first female president of FIFA and the first American. You can propose a salary cap for world football and get assassinated in Switzerland or wherever they're headquartered.
I would be honored.
That escalated quickly.
It's like American Pope, cool. American woman FIFA president,
oh shit,
even cooler.
Okay, earlier I said if you were MLS commissioner, I'd be your assistant. If you're FIFA like queen rather, I can find you security people that we can trust.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it will just be Thad stabbing people.
Carrie,
the last resort.
What a deep cut.
Carrie, you do. Hey, I see what you did there, Cody.
Oh, I didn't see that. So thank you,
Carrie.
There's lots of little ones.
You do have to commit if you run for FIFA president and get it to every so often coming out and just announcing that you feel like a certain ethnic or cultural group. Like, because he said the other day, he's like, I feel Moroccan today. Like every day, Infantino wakes up and he feels, to be, I'm a migrant worker today. I feel all these different things.
I already do that. So my sister's recently been diagnosed with celiac. And so whenever I see her, I'm always like, today I feel gluten-free. And no one gets the joke except for her.
Well, can she have Cody's banana bread or no? Probably not.
Can you guys smell it? It smells so good in my apartment right now.
Yes, we can smell it through the
I can smell
computer.
it. Yeah.
We need
Okay.
smell-o-vision.
Okay, Thad, leave us with something prophetic.
I still think it's getting better.
What's getting better? My banana bread? The banana
Yes.
bread or the team? Or
Do you put
sporting?
nuts
or
in your
current?
bread?
I do. Yeah, I did. Yeah,
Mm,
pecans.
What kind?
Pecans. I'm a pecan man.
that gets a no for me. That's a no for me, dog.
It's not very many. And other people who have had this, they say, I don't normally like nuts in the banana bread, but this is very good. It's very good banana bread.
We miss you, Robert.
Cody
We'll
will
be back
bring
next
you
week.
banana bread.
We'll be back next week. Sporting!
We're going to get Cody to post his recipe.
Put that in the article.
Yeah.